Hey, my name is Kristen. Mike and I have worked really hard on our geographic farm. So today we're going to present on what we've done and just the methods that we've learned from researching and trying it all out and experimenting. And we're excited to share that with you guys and what works for us. So, okay, I made like a little handout. So if you guys don't mind passing these out. I only have 3.
If we need some more, we can make them. We can just pass them and just look at them.
Yeah, these are the actual newsletters that we've made before. This is just one of them.
So we just really
So
pass
it's the
those
front
around.
and yeah, so there's only 3 copies of this, but it's the front and back. But everyone should be able to get a copy of the actual Word document. So if you can pass these around. Oh, there's a front and back too. So okay, so the first thing to know about geographic farming is it's very much a long game. Like you're not gonna, if you're just wanting like some quick business and quick leads, this isn't the best way for that. Like there's better ways to get business quickly. This is a long-term strategy where it's gonna take probably a minimum of 18 months before you really start seeing anything come of it. And so and in the meantime, you're investing money consistently every month and time every month into building up this awareness of your brand and who you are. Does that make sense before we move on? So just know that it takes patience. It is a long game. Everyone told me that, and it really was about 18 months before we started seeing any kind of a return. And even that, I would say we didn't probably make our money back for 2.5 years. So it's really just takes patience, time, and just having like confidence that it's going to work. So the first thing I would say is pick a neighborhood, and you want it to be somewhere where you have some kind of a connection to the community. It can be the neighborhood you live in, but it doesn't have to be. But you do want it to be where you either know a couple people or you've sold 1 or 2 homes there, so you have some credibility. So that's the first thing. And then once you've done that, you want to do some market research to make sure that it's not already being dominated by a realtor. And you can, does everyone know how to do that?
No.
Okay, so what you would do is just, you can do searches on the MLS of like recently sold properties. So I would draw a map on the MLS of that neighborhood, look at what's been sold in the last 2 years. And then I would just pull up that list and look and see if you're seeing like the same realtor over and over again. Probably pick a different neighborhood because, pick one where that's not happening because most neighborhoods don't have that. So there's no reason to do that. So the other thing that I didn't put on here that you want to make sure of is you want to make sure it's a neighborhood that has decent turnover. Like if it's a neighborhood that with like multi-million-dollar properties where like they hardly ever sell, it's probably not the best one to farm. You want one that turns over. So I started in townhomes and that was a really good first neighborhood for me because there's pretty high turnover in townhomes. So those are the things. And if any of you want to do this, I'm happy to like help you pick the neighborhood and do research on it. And then
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
And I apologize.
Yeah, interrupt me anytime, please.
Okay, so as far as neighborhoods go, do you have more than one that you like focus on, or do you like all your effort on one?
I started with the townhomes I lived in. Now we're doing the entire city of Cedar Hills.
Okay.
So
it's a small community like that.
Yeah, Cedar Hills actually is small. It's only 2,500 houses, but
the best.
Yeah.
Right. 2,500
So
houses.
what we're gonna do is for we have 6 realtors that live in Cedar Hills. We're gonna start branding to all of us. So we have a picture of the 6 of us that we professionally took, and we're gonna start just saying your name. We're gonna really leverage the fact that 6 of us live there. So Cedar Hills we got locked down, so no one stay out of our turf.
That's where I live.
But and the realtors on our team, we're gonna start like this newsletter is gonna be something similar to this, but branded to all of us. So
We're slowly moving into all different neighborhoods.
Yeah.
We're all kind of stuck in one.
Yes,
right now.
Kelsey's moving out, so we're gonna start getting to know everybody. But so then the next thing to do is you don't need a CRM, but if you have one, I would leverage it. If not, just use a spreadsheet because you're gonna start keeping when you get information of people in your farm. You want to keep that's you're gonna be retargeting them, reaching out to them. So I use FirePoint. Most CRMs have tags. So whenever you get the name or contact information of someone in that neighborhood, you're going to add them to your CRM and you're going to tag them. I just put farm so that I know. And that's how so whenever I send an email about Cedar Hills, I can just send it to that. So, and then we created a flyer. That's just one example. The main things you want to have on your flyer are you want it to be hyper local, really relevant. So you can go on like the city website and find like interesting things. You want it to have multiple calls to action. You don't want it to look too polished or professional. Strangely enough, to throw it away, but if it looks like something that like you made, you want it to look somewhat professional, but like kind of somewhere in the middle, because you want people that it creates like a trust if it looks like you're a local person who's making this newsletter and giving it out to them. And then I like to do a review. So at the top, I just do like a review, because that's social proof is really a good way to get people to trust you. And then once you start selling homes in the neighborhood, we like to feature them in the newsletter. So it shows, look, we're doing business here already. What I did is I found somebody, I think on Fiverr, and I think I paid her like 150 initially to make the template for me. And then every month I would just send her what I wanted in there, and it would be $35. Oh, and the other thing is really specific market statistics, like how many homes are on the market in your neighborhood, what homes are on the market. So you want it to be very hyper local so that it's interesting for them to read. So then what we did is we paid somebody to put a flyer on every door, but you don't have to. You could go do it, and you could even that way knock.
It's great.
Yeah, we
Did it, that's what I did with my last listing.
Yeah,
I paid them a quarter each.
yeah, there you go. Yeah,
There.
yeah.
Earn some
Yeah,
money,
our
learn some
kids like
hard
doing
work.
that too. So yeah, have kids. So you can pay someone or do it yourself. And when you're newer, I would say do it yourself, because people see you out there. It gives you a chance to talk to people. You can even knock on like every third door or something and introduce yourself. So we do that, and then sometimes you won't get a single call off the flyers, but every once in a while you do. But it's just you're building
they
a
know
brand.
you,
This is
yeah.
about brand recognition and getting your name out there, and people will tell you, oh, I really liked your flyer. Like I look forward to getting that information. So yeah, the market updates, the hyper local information, calls to action are really important. And then every year we would plan an ice cream party. We'd make a big deal of it. We'd be like, we're gonna have BYU ice cream, 5 flavors, and we did really cool raffles. And I'll tell you why we did the raffles in a minute. But and then the same thing, we would make a fun flyer, put it on all the doors. If you're part of the neighborhood groups, we would like post on there. And we always got an amazing turnout at those parties. And then we would have raffles, so they had to fill out and they would all be excited to give us all their information because they wanted us to be able to contact them if they want. So then we would collect their information, add it to our CRM, tag it farm, and then slowly over time you're building up a list of people who live in your farm who you can retarget. So then the other thing that we haven't done, but I think is a good idea, so I put it in here, is a neighborhood yard sale. Because that's actually pretty much free for you, unless you do, but you can organize it, be in charge of signs, be in charge of advertising. You can create like a map and brand it to yourself. So I've heard of people doing that, and I think it's a great idea. I haven't done it, but I put that idea in there. And then once I have those emails in my CRM, I'm sending them every like month something really specific to them, like, hey, there's the pancake breakfast at the Vista Room this Saturday. I hope you can make it. Just wanted to remind you. Or, and you can find that information by just going on their city's website, even if it's not where you live. Or, the American Fort Canyon has a junior ranger program. It's just right around the corner. Like, it's going to be really fun. Here's the details of it. And then every single time we get a listing, we make a huge deal of it. So like we're sending out an invitation to their open house, and then we're telling them, we're sending out like the video tour so they can see how well we market the listing. Email. Yes. So we have those emails, and then we have them so we can send them information.
I already need a Xanax.
I do too.
This is causing me anxiety.
You do those events for neighborhoods.
It is a lot. Okay. It's really stressful, but it works. And then so then when you do get a listing, like when you have an open house, like you're making a huge deal. You're inviting your neighbors and friends. You're putting up tons of signs everywhere, balloons, like you're open, like, because this is your farm and you want them to know how well you advertise your listings.
Using all the signs.
Yep, all the signs. You're
list
sending out
it.
emails. You're texting, inviting people. Like you're really going to leverage every single listing you get in your farm.
I have a question on that.
Yes.
When you're texting, so it's in PowerPoint, and are you able to just text the farm?
To be honest, I haven't done that. I just think you should, but I just email them. I
Okay.
just send an email out.
And then is there also an unsubscribe on that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there has to be. So
Right.
it does it for you. That's what's
Okay.
nice about using the CRM, is it like covers your bases that way,
Right.
because they know the rules. So we just send a mass email. But with our CRM, we can send a mass email, but it puts their name in. So
Good.
some people know, most people know that we didn't individually send it, but some people don't. And then they email you back and they're like, thank you so much for the invite. You know, like, I really appreciate it. I can't make it. And so,
Oh, cute.
yeah. So we did that. And then the other thing that I haven't done, but I think it's a really good idea that I've heard other people do is when in your little farm, especially if you have a small one to start with, only 300 or 500 houses, just go show every single house and leave your business card. Why not? You're previewing it. You can. It's good content. It helps you know the area, and those sellers, even if they didn't choose you as their agent, you're like, they know, like, you show every single house in the neighborhood and you're aware of what's going on, and it just.
I see a
creates
lot of
branding.
business cards and I've never left them.
Yeah.
there.
Well, and that used to be more of a thing. Like, it was like customary
It was
to leave your
expected.
card. It was expected because that was before like Supras electronically registered you, and so that was a way for the sellers to know who was in the house. But because of that, you can still do it, and so you can just leave your
In
card. in
COVID,
there.
we weren't allowed because they were like contaminated.
Yeah.
I have a thing that adds to that. I have gotten accepted before because they knew that I was doing business. So psychologically, I'm now going to be leaving those. I haven't done it before, but I'm going to leave them there so that the other realtors that are also showing the house see your card as much as possible.
That's
And
true.
that actually, I have had probably
Yeah.
2 deals happen because they perceived me as a realtor that was doing a lot of work.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's important, your relationship with other realtors and your credibility. Okay, Terry. And then the other thing I do, and I do this, is I try to give everyone in my farm an updated market analysis every year, which is a lot, especially if you have, like, as you build up that list of emails. But you can send it out as a mass email. Hey, we're sending updates. We'd love to give you a custom valuation of your house. And then the ones that you have a better relationship with, you could even text them. And that's what we do. And before you walked in, Jill, I was just reminding everybody that this works, but it is very much a long game. Like, it's going to be like 2 years before you start getting your money back from the money and time you've invested. But it does work. You just have to be consistent, and it takes a long time.
We've always used the analogy, think of this as an orchard. You don't actually
Yeah.
get, your apples out the first year you plant a tree.
Yeah.
But over a period of time, if you take care of it and do it,
Mhm.
yeah. Wonder how they got that
Like
idea
a
from.
farm, like you're farming.
There's a lot more reasons why they call it a farm than just,
But the point of the orchard is you can farm and get crops the first year. With orchard, it takes multiple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I appreciate your orchard.
And the
yeah,
thing with the
patience is
farm
needed.
Is like, I was telling Michelle this, like, not just with geographic farming, but with like whether it's your SOI, online leads, anything, you don't know which ones are gonna pop up. Like, you just so you have to like water and nurture them all. It's like you have this farm and only like 10% are gonna actually happen. So you have to like take care of all 100, even though only 10 of them are gonna pop up, and you just gotta stay at it.
So what, do you acknowledge other agents' listings to your geographic farm?
No, I mean,
No,
like, I would go show them,
Right.
but yeah, I don't like
Sometimes you
advertising.
post it, though, You post other.
New listings on like social media.
Oh, yeah, so we do that. Not
Home
anymore,
of the
actually.
week or
We've
something.
stopped because now you're not supposed to advertise other brokerages listings, and so now we're only advertising within our brokerage.
Oh,
But
you
yeah.
can't even still with permission, you can't?
You can with permission.
Wait, oh, is it with permission?
Why is
Oh,
that?
Okay, then
I
maybe
think
we'll go
you-
back.
It
to
just is with permission and.
I
and
feel
you have
like
to put
it's
their name on it.
hurting the sellers.
Well-
So on social media, yeah, we do that. We try to do like a find of the week, like a good deal of the week,
Yeah.
and then we try to do like a fun luxury home that people like to look at, but always with permission from the listing agent. But we actually have switched. We're now just trying to focus on the brokerage and teams listings. So
One thing I've found with like farming or your sphere is I've brought my kids to our events, and they've started talking to their friends about it, and their friends come to me and be like, what do I have to do to get on your list?
Yeah.
And it's like this exclusive list. And I'm like, just have your mom send me the email.
that's
And
all I
I
gotta do, and then you're
I'm
invited.
farming kids.
Yeah.
Treat me.
I know when we did that
You
one
can
with
do that.
Your cards to leave the houses and they
Trick or
So
treating.
what year did you make the city house?
26 years ago, almost exactly.
Okay, I moved there in 2002. I'm invoking the homestead law. The farmers.
No, nope. I will flip
We
you.
outvote you, the 6 of us.
Well,
No.
and even in a farm, having more than one individual agent that actually works that farm, that's not an uncommon thing.
No,
Yeah.
that's not happening in Cedar Hills. None of your-
It's very uncommon in Cedar Hills.
Whenever any enlisting come up, I'm like, who's that?
I guess my
Why are they in Cedar
Cedar
Hills?
Hills is our turf.
I guess
That's
my
my
point
friend's
was,
mom.
in any other neighborhood,
Just kidding.
you may have more than one agent competing, in that neighborhood, but it's the one that, works the hardest and has the best synergy working with the people and stuff like that. One will always shine, but you can see, you may find, you pick a neighborhood, you go to all this work, you get it going and find another agent's kind of doing the same
And that's
thing.
okay. Yeah, there's a couple others.
It does happen.
I'm gonna get an ice cream truck and sell.
That one year we were ice cream trucks
You
from
live
the
in
back
Cedar
of our,
I lived in, do you know where Orchard Place? It's a gated community right across from
Oh,
Army Park.
okay, yeah.
yeah.
I used to.
But,
My-
okay.
My ex still lives there if you wanna go
Okay,
visit
all
her.
right, cool.
Yeah.
You can sell it.
There's plenty of, I'm just joking. There's plenty of business
Don't
going
worry,
around.
Randy, we'll
I'm
farm your ass.
totally.
I'll give you 20 grand if you steal the deal.
Alex,
That sounds really bad.
I had that buyer that dropped out because they want to be close to their daughter's elementary school because she can't drive anymore. So I haven't done business in their neighborhood, but can I just farm like that elementary school
Yes.
district?
oh my gosh. So that is another
'Cause I need
really,
to find them a house.
so that's another great way to get your foot in the door is when you actually have a buyer, like you can like create flyers and you're not, and because you're being authentic, it's easier to do it. People will take you seriously and you just say, I have a client looking for homes in a specific neighborhood. And you'll probably find them a home and get a listing or two out of it because you're just creating relationships with people.
You can post on like their website, but my favorite thing is, and it's the most annoying thing, is people get on and be like, there's one right here.
And it's like
online."
on the MLS. You're like,
yeah,
I've seen
duh.
what's on the MLS.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Stop
know that.
posting that.
I know.
So you can get on like their Facebook page, their school Facebook page or their,
You have to get invited. Like we do it with Cedar
oh,
Hills.
because your kids aren't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice if you have like some kind of connection to the community, but there's no reason why you can't look up the boundaries of the district and just go start passing out flyers and knocking
Just
doors.
see if she has connection and can
Yeah.
invite you.
Yeah.
Invite you
But she
into
can
it.
even say, she can even make a post on her own.
But if
Facebook
she makes a post, you may have
Yeah.
a for
and have
sale
a
by
realtor.
owner
Yeah.
And have
situation.
other realtors that are
Yeah.
Yeah, I would try to get in the neighborhood, but that's what we did. That's what we do. So let me know what questions you guys have.
So just maybe a couple things, just fill in the blanks. So it's not uncommon for an agent to have maybe 2 or 3 smaller farms. Maybe a farm a neighborhood they used to live in and had a good connection with people and maintain that. And then when they move into a new one and traditionally people move about every 4 or 5 years. So if you're in that kind of genre where you actually move quite a bit, you'd have a chance to put several neighborhoods together. And then just pick a neighborhood you like. We'll go, oh my gosh, look at how many condos are selling in this project or townhomes. And there's a lot of turnover in those. So that's actually a really good farm to start with.
Condos or townhomes are really good. to
So
start
you
with.
want to do, you don't want to just go, oh, I think I'll farm the $5 million houses over here. You think it's better to do a neighborhood that's turning.
Well, I think that the
Turnover is
turnover is
important.
really important. Yeah, otherwise it could be 10 years before you sell something.
Or both.
Cause
Yeah.
cause like certain neighborhoods in Cedar Hills, like they do not move and we've had really hard times pulling comps when other neighborhoods, there's plenty.
So like, I think that, for example,
Like our-
someone
like my
should
street,
farm,
our street.
someone should farm that. Do you know those Highlands townhomes right by the splash pad?
What?
Splash pad.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Someone should farm those.
Those are going up a lot.
I know, and they
Like
turn over,
Westbrook?
they're great townhomes. They're $500,000.
Are
Like
you talking
that-
about the ones right off?
Like
of,
Tuscan
Yeah,
looking.
that would
Yeah.
be,
Yeah.
if I was, like, I'm not really.
They're
looking to
building
expand my farm right
more
now, but
on
that's
the
what I
other
would-
side
Yeah.
too,
Oh,
so
those
it's
are
a
really
wider
good.
area.
Yeah.
Because there's twin homes.
And
next to it.
another way to pick a farm is to find out if you have a client that really wants to be in a neighborhood and they have lots of friends. You say, oh, my cousins live there and so, my neighbors want to live there as well. Then you kind of have a hand in get started on it and just pick that neighborhood and just say, we have just sold so-and-so this home. We have other buyers that want to be in there. And that's your first baby steps in getting that neighborhood into your pool of sphere.
So I don't know if anybody's doing this, but someone really should find 55 and older.
Mhm.
Because
But once they move in,
Because
they're-
there's a lot of turnover
Well,
there,
yes, exactly.
literally.
but those
I know,
people
'cause I
do
did-
actually.
They're literally turning over.
I think one thing to think about is also any new
Hang on, Brian.
builds that are 2 years old. Any 2-year-old new builds of townhomes.
We've got a guest on our
Sorry.
Zoom, so
So yeah,
Yeah,
like
you-
I was thinking
You're good.
new builds that are townhomes that are 2 years old. Because a lot of those people that bought 2 years ago can now be able to have their turnover where they won't hit those capital gains.
Yeah, that's true.
Did everybody get that?
No.
Okay, Brian, we had your volume down a little bit and when there was some competing talking
Oh.
going on. Can you say that again?
Sorry. So townhomes that are 2 years old. So any of the new builds that people bought 2 years ago, they'll be hitting those capital gains where they don't have to pay the capital gains tax. So any, new builds that are townhomes that are 2 years old, they would probably be in a great place to be able to flip it.
That's a great way to get started.
Well, and
Thank
even
you.
showing them their
Especially they built
value.
So much equity in the
Yeah.
last 2 years.
Okay, so the chair recognizes Melissa. She had a comment.
No, no, I'm done.
I want to hear it. I didn't hear it.
Oh, no, I'm just joking. No, it's- we're-
Has there been ever anything that you've done and you tried it a couple times and realized that that was too much work or maybe not?
What's
enough?
not worked? Question.
So the thing with the flyers is that like it's hard to like measure when you're just creating a brand because like it's that's what you're doing is creating awareness. I have had like in the 3 or 4 years I've been doing the flyers, I think I've gotten like maybe 3 deals directly from the flyers, but most of it is just creating that brand awareness. So I'm not saying I don't regret it, but I'm saying I can see why some
Question.
people think like, is it worth it to do this? I think it is, but it's just marketing, like sometimes you can't measure its effectiveness. I think that if I was only going to do one thing in my farm, it would be the ice cream party with a raffle to collect their information and then sending out emails that are hyper local. If I was just going to keep it really simple, that's what I would do.
What's
the And-
most popular ice cream?
BYU ice cream.
It is Graham Canyon.
Graham
Canyon. Yeah.
So good.
And like we make a big
No,
deal
fun
about
fact,
that.
my brother-in-law named that, and he is milking that the rest of his life.
It's his claim to
I
fame.
named that.
Literally, milking it.
Yeah.
So I guess the first thing that you say that like you would do is possibly send out flyers and then have an ice cream party.
Yeah.
Even if you don't really know anyone there, how do you do the ice cream
So
party?
I would pick a neighborhood where you have some connections. So, for example, like your old neighborhood in Pleasant Grove where you still have a ton of friends, that'd be a really good one to do.
I just found out
but-
the former governor lives next door to me, so we'll go golfing.
There you go.
Governor Herbert, yeah.
Wow.
And his dad used to be my milk dad.
Oh, right.
Like that.
Yeah, so that's what I would do. But, and I think you have to have the mindset that like, that's the hardest part is you're gonna do these flyers and you're not gonna do a single call and you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I just spent $300 on flyers and I didn't get a call. And then you can do that for months and months and months and months and months before you get anything. So I actually, with all this, I don't recommend geographic farming when you're first getting started. I think the best way when you're first getting started is to leverage your sphere and leads, internet leads. Those are the 2 things that I think I would do. And then once you have some extra cash to invest in your business, then that's when I would do the farm. That's how I would do it. I would, because your sphere, they already know, like, and trust you. Your internet leads, they're going to be closer to doing something like 3 to 6 months for the best ones. And so those are the 2 things I would focus on at first. And then once you've, done it for a year, you've sold some houses, you have some extra savings, then you're ready to like invest and grow, then I would do a geographic farm.
So would you say that maybe if a baby step forward would be Sphere would be also the neighborhood you live in, maybe the immediate block or 2 blocks?
Yeah,
or
and like
5 blocks
posting on your neighborhood page and just like, getting your name out there. I think that would be.
as
great
a
way
new
to do it.
agent.
I think for sure your like where you live, the street you live on,
Mhm.
you should be marketing to them
Yeah.
and like basically farming. them.
Having events, like another thing I did when I first moved to Utah is I just posted on my neighborhood page, okay, I want to do a progressive dinner. Like, would anyone like to do that? Where we basically have like an appetizer at someone's house, dinner at someone's house, dessert at someone's house. I think we had a 4th course, like a salad or something. And we did that. It was really fun. And we actually, over the next 2 years, like 2 of those 4 people ended up working with us to sell or buy a house. So I just think like, hanging out with the people around you and creating relationships is the best way to get going. It really is. So
I just got the cutest little letter from my niece in California with a little business card, and she's a new realtor, and she talked about all her strengths, and so she was just telling everybody she knows that she's a realtor. It was a cute, really cute card, and then I wish I had done something like that when I moved to Utah last
Well,
year.
you still can.
I still can.
Yeah, it's not too late.
It's never too late.
Yeah, I would do that like,
Grid system.
I know. Things you've learned after you've been in Utah
Yeah.
for a year.
I have a quick question. So I'm new to this whole thing, but Brian was saying the capital gains, you have to be in your home for 2 years. Is that correct? Is it 2 years?
so we
thought
can
it was
never,
3.
well, your husband's an accountant.
Well, that's why I thought it was 3.
You might be right. So we don't get tax advice, but it's 2. And then I think there's an exception if you have to move because of like a job or family change.
Oh, okay.
But we never give tax advice. We just say, this is what we've read. Please confirm it with your accountant.
Yeah,
Things are
always
always
check
changing.
with your accountant.
Maybe they'll know you
Maybe it
found
was
your
3 for us.
husband's
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I would like to, we faced this on a listing we just had, and even from the accountants, because they were going, we'll just take the hit. But I would love if somebody has an accountant that can give us a definitive answer, because I've heard that can be prorated during a portion of, like, in the last 3 months. So if somebobody's got an accountant that has that solid information.
Yeah, I know one.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I know a really
I
sketchy
feel
one.
really sketchy.
Yeah, I use him too.
But I mean, just across the board,
I mean, when you get
it
tax
is
returns.
like, it
Speak up.
is.
Just
true,
pray you
like,
don't get a
so, like,
refund.
I think that's a solid.
I mean, you can always say that.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
But then there's exceptions, but yeah, I think you
What are
can.
the
looking at
exceptions?
So if you have like a job change and you have to move out of state, they can prorate the capital gains.
Right, but if we're just like saying standard, if you've lived there for 2 years, you're not gonna get capital gain.
I always say that and then I still disclaim it with, but check,
Right.
confirm with an accountant because tax laws change all the time too. But yeah, that's it.
Do you guys ever, if there's someone that wants to sell their house, and do you ever like prepare that person for the possibility of them having to pay?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's the first thing you talk about. How long have you lived in your home?
Yeah.
Okay, but then what do you say? Because you're not supposed to give like advice.
I would say that I'm pretty sure that this is the rule, but please confirm it with an
So there's a
Okay.
possibility you may be involved or affected by this, so you need to get some help because this is the situation possibly that could be the case.
Okay,
So it's just making them aware that they need to get somebody that's an
so
expert
they're
on
not
you.
like super
You're-
mad at you.
You're not the
Yeah,
expert.
you definitely want to, like, if you're aware of that, I ran into that with a client who, it was a messy situation because it was like a rent to own thing. And I didn't know that they had only like closed on the rent to own deal like a year before because they had been living there for months. I mean, not months, years, like 4 to 5 years. And so then when they got their taxes, they were like, you didn't warn us. And I was like, I'm so sorry. Like I would have if I thought of it, but
But it's not like your
it's not my job, but I
but-
still felt like if I had known, I of course would have brought it up. But they were mad. They called Eric.
So never assume anything.
Yeah,
There we go.
yeah, yeah. Just that's something I learned from that. That I'm going to be more proactive and being aware of how long I've lived in the home.
It's not bad on
Having
a
that
listing. Just say, how long have you lived in the home?
Yeah.
One question when you get started. And if it's, we bought, because you're going to see a lot of that right now. There are a lot of people buying properties just to get into something, maybe not what they want, but what they can afford. And so in the next years, I see a lot of transition out of that from where they are to what they want. And you may see capital gains becoming a real issue.
Well, and like, I don't know, not that, seems like a lot of young people that haven't bought it, so, they're, they have a first home and want to get in a second,
they have
don't
no
even
idea.
know about that.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think it's really smart to bring it up. And yeah.
And that's a good idea to create a relationship with like Robin was saying, like an accountant or something. To say, I get this question a lot. I would love to refer my people to you.
Michelle has a really good relationship with an accountant. Like, it's really good.
They're like.
Yeah, like
But
this.
it's,
Yeah.
if you ask for it to be reciprocal, but if you know someone interested in buying or selling and needs an agent information from a real estate agent, I'd appreciate you having call me. So you refer the attorney
Yeah.
or the
The
accountant.
Husband wanna be our resident accountant.
Well, he's the financial
Does he
director
answer?
at
Is he
Trumbull.
nice?
Oh, fun.
Sometimes I feel bad.
He's so busy right now.
Yeah.
Because they're going gangbusters everywhere.
Really?
What's that?
She's so hungry.
Okay, that's good.
Bree, yeah.
No,
Brianna?
no, it's.
Brittany.
One thing I had someone ask, because they had owned the home for like 4 years or something, but it was seller finance, and I just wanted to double check if there was anything. But seller finance is different than rent to own. They're on title, they own the home.
What's it? Yeah, it's just financed by the sellers instead of.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't answer questions specifically, or we try not to, because we're not supposed to be experts in every single thing we deal with in real estate.
Even though we are.
Even though by experience, if you've been in the business 30 years, you pretty well kind of learn a lot of it, but you don't know everything ever. And it's always good to defer them to an authority or an expert. And you're the one that finds the expert for them, but you're not the expert.
Yeah.
But we all still.
Yeah. Well, we know we are, but we don't portray ourselves.
Not saying the opinion, then we don't know. it.
Right.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
Well, you can always say, well, here's
Disclaimer.
what I understand, but it's best for you to get
Yeah,
this
always
verified.
use the possibility or the.
Yeah.
those
Things
words.
change. This is what I remember.
Yeah.
So
Here's
check it
what
out.
I've read, here's what I've seen other clients in the past run into. Verify
No
what it is.
exact.
Yeah.
Anything.
And may I say, we've about finished here.
Yeah.
I just want to thank everybody. I know you've had some challenges with some cancellations on offers and stuff, but you guys have handled them extremely, extremely well. They've been timely, you've done the right things, you got your paperwork in order, everything's worked out really well. So thank you for being so efficient.
Thank you for all your help and guiding us through all these crazy situations.
Well, and
Has
I love,
anyone else seen cancellations?
Was it just our team?
Oh, I had. mine.
What about your like pack of buyers? Are you seeing? I got a text the other day. It's like, I think the market's gonna take a 25% dip, and I was like, I don't think so. Are you seeing that a lot of that talk?
well, people read the national news and they'll say, oh, this is what the market's going to do. But in all of our experience where there's been downturns, Utah has always lagged behind the entire country. We're always like the last ones to actually feel the effect of a recession or, something along that line that actually slows down the market. So we're lucky that way. Now, that's not always going to be the case. There may be something happening in Utah, like a nuclear weapon explode or something like that. The people will want to vacate really quick.
Got dark. Got dark.
So Terry.
For
shared a
example,
I was gonna say, I just send them Terry's videos.
Yeah, just
What
like,
did you
Terry.
say?
If you don't follow Terry on Facebook, he
I
comes up-
do.
he does some really good
I'm
content.
just.
But he talks about the recessions and how like most recessions, the market actually stays the same or even goes up a little bit. And the 2008 was an anomaly, and so that's a really good. I think Tom Ferry has like a really good graphic about that too that you can share with people. So because Terry's is better for sure. Yeah,
well, and
nothing.
I don't know if it's a good thing to share this because if they want to get their home sold, obviously you want business in a listing. But even with 2008, the market recovered in 2 years. We were actually, the values of homes went down and then came back up. By 2011, they were back where they started in 2008, and then from there on continued to go up. You give me a look like that's.
Yeah, I don't agree with you.
Well, in California that didn't happen, but I wasn't here in 2008.
The jump was
so.
a 20% drop, right?
In 2000, what?
The 2008 recession.
20% drop, which is a lot, right? It's not little. But in the last year, we haven't.
30% up.
50, right?
Yeah.
It's insane.
Well, and that's really a phenomenal growth. Usually it's in the,
I know, but
5, 7,
you buy
8%.
something there and it's like, we just had it go up 50 unless you just bought it right there.
If all of you haven't watched, because you're so young, if you haven't watched the movie The Big Short,
Oh yeah.
okay, you need to watch that because that explains so well what happened in 2007, 8, 9. And you can tell whether that, you can tell that occurred because of lending practices.
Mhm.
And anyway, it just gives you a really good perspective.
Yeah,
So somebody's gonna
Do
go.
that this weekend.
that's
People
smart.
Thinking they're gonna wait for people to go to foreclosure, but people in foreclosure can sell their house and make up.
Exactly.
Yeah,
No,
that's
that's.
what
They're not-
happened
they're not-
with mine.
They can sell
Not
their
mine,
house.
but
They
the one I
can-
wanted to
It
buy.
was.
Okay.
It was.
So we're gonna
No,
go
not
ahead
mine.
and
It was the
stop the
one.
video. This is actually being recorded and it'll be on the office's YouTube website. So if you want to look back and kind of go over it again,
Is this public? This YouTube website?
well, it is, but no one knows about it. And if you ever go home for sale,
Wow, I'm
I
thinking.
didn't publish it in the sense of like marketing it. I just have
It
it.
goes viral.
Yeah.
Maybe you should actually put those videos only to, can't you invite people to see?
I mean, I think it's, I personally don't mind, but
I tested it, just every word I could think of to put that in there. And because it's real estate, there are 10,000 sites that'll hit before ours. It's based on user or percentages. No way in.
So don't watch the video.
well, and
then-
actually,
Yeah.
well, and it's good
Yeah.
advertising for our brokerage. If
Don't-
people do watch it, I mean, people put content on YouTube all the time, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Maximum 10 times you can watch a video, but that's it, okay? Just for.
Yeah.
FYI.
But if somebody Googled you, and then.
Well, and if they Google certain
You can
words that
still
would
see
be
me
in there.
setting up a laser.
So if you Google Joy, yeah.
Okay, everyone, thank you so much. We're just gonna go ahead and stop this.
I think what I'm gonna do is use LVS